The Ultramarines, the boys in blue, who are their leaders? Well, we all know that their Primarch is Roboute Guilliman, and their current chapter master is Marneus Calgar. But what about the line commanders, the ones who lead all their 12 companies? Yeah, that's what I said, 12 companies. Aside from their 10 standard ones, they also have 2 more specialized companies, which we shall reveal and discuss here. So let's get into what all these companies are about and their commanders. Let's begin. So let's begin bottoms up from the 10th to the 1st. Here we have, which is called the Scout Company, the 10th Company, and it plays a vital role in shaping the future of the chapter by serving as both a training ground for new recruits and a reconnaissance force. This company is primarily composed of neophyte scouts. These scouts are trained in stealth, infiltration, and marksmanship, and they are often deployed ahead of the main force to gather intelligence, eliminate key targets, or disrupt enemy operations. The Codex Astartes, which has been revised in the wake of the Indomitus Crusade, no longer mandates a fixed size for scout companies, therefore allowing their numbers to fluctuate based on the chapter's recruitment success and losses in battle. For the Ultramarines, the 10th Company is known as the Scions of Ultramar. In addition to its ever-changing number of neophyte scouts, the 10th Company also now maintains a permanent force of 100 fully trained Vanguard Space Marines. These are Primaris warriors specializing in covert warfare, sabotage, and deep strike operations. Thus, the scouts of the 10th Company frequently fight alongside Vanguard squads or are attached to battle companies, gaining experience in war under the guidance of more seasoned battle brothers. The current captain of the 10th Company of the Ultramarines, as of now, is Antilocus. One step above is the 9th Company. See here, the Astartes here is an actual battle brother and no longer a recruit, and they would go up to the 9th and then progressively up as one gains experience and prowess. See, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th and the 9th companies of a Space Marine chapter are known as the Reserve Companies. These units are composed of fully initiated Space Marines who have completed their time in the 10th. Though labeled as reserves, these companies are far from inactive. The 9th Company of the Ultramarines are known as the Stormbringers. This company, like others, specialize in fire support, in raining destruction from far beyond, with long-range weaponry. Their ranks are composed of Devastator squads, Hellblasters, Suppressors, and Eliminators, all units that wield heavy and long-range weaponry. While the battle companies strike forward with fury, the Stormbringers hold the line, anchoring the flanks and provide the thunderous fire support, and they are also very static in their doctrine. The 9th is also entrusted with one of the chapter's most sacred responsibilities, the protection and recovery of ancient relics. This duty falls under the leadership of their captain, called Synod, who is also the master of relics of the Ultramarines, and thus he has to look over all these recovered relics. Now we come to the 8th Company. This is the close support company which is deployed where brutal close quarters combat is required. For the Ultramarines, this company is called the Honor Blades, and within the Honor Blades, Battle Brothers master the use of jump packs, bikes, aggressor armor, and a deadly arsenal of chainsaws, power axes, bolt pistols, and melter bombs, cycling rapidly through various assault roles to hone their effectiveness in every form of close-range warfare. But the Honor Blades serve a higher purpose than that. See, while they carry deep knowledge of the Codex Astartes, they can still recall the fire and uncertainty of youth. Encouraged by the teachings of Roboute Guilliman himself, they are permitted to, and even expected, to challenge the doctrine of the Codex Astartes, to question, adapt, and improve on it through bold experimentation. Their captain, who bears the title called Lord Executioner, holds a blade to the Battle Brothers' necks, demanding they swear their allegiance again, which might seem harsh but really logical after their mental wrestling with the doctrines of the Codex. Anyway, during the Third War for Damnus in M42, this company, the 8th, is led by Captain Helios, who has replaced Captain Joris Numitor as of late. Now next we come to the 7th Company. They were once called as Sacrifice, but they were later honored with a title called Defenders of Caesarion. This reserve company is known for developing tactical flexibility, and the Battle Brothers are seen to transition from tightly focused single-role missions to more versatile operations of tactical and intercessor squads. It is here that they begin to master battlefield adaptability, learning how to operate across a range of combat roles while supporting the chapter's main battle line. Their primary missions include seizing and holding strategic positions, garrisoning key fortifications, and plugging gaps or flanks with swift, decisive actions. To support this role, the 7th trains extensively with the use of the chapter's aircraft and skimmers such as the Stormhawk Interceptor and thus making them a fast-moving force capable of both ground operations and airborne assault. Leading this company is Captain Jared Ixion, a hardened veteran and the bearer of the title called Chief Victualler. Once a noble patrician, Ixion has been tempered by centuries of war and burdened with the weight of galactic tragedies. As Chief Victualler, he oversees the logistics and provisioning of the chapter, everything from food and fuel to the management of chapter servitors and all that logistic stuff. So after the 7th, we have the 6th company, which are known as the Brethren of the Forge, and they hold a vital role as the chapter's foremost reserve company. They are constantly reinforcing the Ultramarine strike forces across the galaxy. The 6th is rarely deployed at full strength though, as many of its battle brothers are continually dispersed to bolster other formations. But despite this, the 6th remains a formidable force in its own right. They are highly trained in armored warfare and the operation of the chapter's many war machines. The Brethren of the Forge maintains a rotating honor guard within the chapter's armory, which is housed in the Fortress of Hera. This duty not only honors the machines of war but also grants these warriors hands-on experience with the chapter's sacred machinery. Many of those who serve in this capacity develop a deep affinity for technology and later go on to become Tech Marines. They are commanded by Captain Farron Arias, who also holds the title of Master of the Rites. In this role, Arias is the guardian of the chapter's rituals, customs and history, preserving ancient traditions and overseeing the spiritual and the ceremonial life of the Ultramarines. So remember that we set 12 companies instead of 10 for the Ultramarines. Well, here's one of them. This is called the Honor Company. This is an elite formation of approximately 100 Space Marines, created in response or maybe a sense of guilt for being absent in the Siege of Terra, and this might have weighed heavily on Roboute Guilliman, their Primarch, who vowed never again to allow his sons to be too distant to confront the Imperium's greatest threats. So to ensure a permanent and rapid response force could always stand watch against the Eye of Terror, Guilliman ordered the formation of the dedicated Honor Guard, or the Honor Company, that would maintain a constant presence at the Cadian Gate. So for 10 millennia, the Honor Company stood guard and its ranks were drawn from entirely the Ultramarines chapter themselves, and at times bolstered by squads from its successor chapters. The last command of the Honor Company was Captain Aekion, despite only being a descendant of the chapter rather than an official member. However, he is nonetheless a capable leader, a veteran of many centuries of service and warfare, fighting against the forces of chaos. However, after the 13th Black Crusade and the destruction of Cadia, the fate of this company remains unknown. The other one here is called the Fulminata. This is a demi-company of the Ultramarines chapter, and it is composed entirely of Primarch Space Marines. It was originally formed during the tumultuous times of the Era Indomitus. The Fulminata serve as a fast-moving mobile strike force operating from the battle barge called Spear of Macragge. The unit was initially commanded by Primarch's Captain Demeter, although at times, leadership passed on to Captain Demetrius as well, and it remains uncertain in the current era which of the two holds formal command. What distinguishes the Fulminata from other formations and companies within the chapter is both its composition and origins. Just over half of its warriors were born on Mars, and they were uplifted to Primarch status during the Ultima founding, created directly by the hand of Archmagus Dominus Belisarius Cawl. As a result, many of the Fulminata do not share the same homeworld, their ties, as the traditional Ultramarines, and upon death, they are often not interred within the realm of Ultramar. They are often cremated in space or in Mars, which sets them apart even in burial. And this is the other demi-company, which can be considered a company because they have more than 100. Now coming back to the standard companies, here we start with the 5th, which are known as the Wardens of the Eastern Fringe. They are the most far-ranging and widely deployed of all the chapter's battle companies. See, when a battle brother earns the right to ascend from reserve to the ranks of the battle line, it is often the 5th company that welcomes them first. This early assignment plunges them into the thick of war, as the 5th is in a near constant state of redeployment across the entire war zone stretching from Segmentum Ultima to the farthest reaches of the Eastern Fringe. The 5th Company's continuous crusading fulfills several important roles. Firstly, it allows the warriors to quickly gain vast combat experience on the front lines, often in diverse and unpredictable war zones. Second, the company is frequently deployed or redeployed alongside a wide array of Imperial allies, including the Night Houses, Sisters of Battle, the Astra Militarum regiments, and even other Space Marine chapters. And the current captain of the 5th Company is called Phalion, who succeeded Captain Caito Galenus recently and now leads the company in continuing its legacy of tireless war and unwavering honor across the stars. Then we have here the 4th Company, which are known as the Defenders of Ultramar. and stands as a bastion of unyielding resolve and steadfast duty within the chapter. They are renowned for their determination and spirit. These warriors of the 4th have endured some of the most punishing battles in the chapter's history. They are tasked primarily with the defense of Ultramar itself. The 4th Company shoulders the burden of protecting the heart of their empire from a myriad of threats, including the Tyranids, demons, Chaos Space Marines, and the Tau. Within Ultramar, the warriors of the 4th garrison the bastions, citadels, and major strongholds that anchor the realm's defenses. They command Ultramar auxiliary formations and are frequently reinforced with fire support squads from other companies, with also Thunderfire cannons and Vindicators, forming gun lines that can be rapidly repositioned using armored transports and aerial gunships to counter enemy flanking maneuvers. They are led by their captain, Uriel Ventress, a famed commander, who also commands the elite squad called the Swords of Khalt. So above them is the 3rd Company. This is famously known as the Scourge of Xenos, and they have earned a formidable reputation for its many victories during the Tyrannic Wars. They are tasked with confronting the most dangerous alien monstrosities that threaten the Imperium. The 3rd Company has become a specialist force in anti-Xenos warfare. Their long-standing mission is to engage and destroy alien threats, which has in turn shaped their doctrine, equipment, and traditions. This battle-hardened company frequently operates with support from the 1st Company Terminators, especially during the Space Hulk boarding actions and other high-risk missions which are deep within enemy-infested zones. The 3rd is particularly known for its extensive use of aggressor squads and the Centurion war suits. At present, the 3rd Company is led by Captain Mikhail Fabian, who also holds the esteemed title of Master of the Arsenal. See, in a Codex-compliant chapter, this designation, the Master of the Arsenal, has the responsibility of overseeing the chapter's armory, which means weapon stockpiles, munitions, and logistics. Then now next we come to the 2nd Company, the Guardians of the Temple, or the Avengers of Ultramar, who stands as the shining spearhead of the chapter's battle companies. These warriors are paragons of Ultramarine tradition. They are honored, disciplined, and utterly devoted to the ideals of the Codex Astartes. Amongst all the companies, the 2nd is held in the highest regard, its members often being the first considered for elevation to veteran status within the 1st Company. However, despite their reputation for discipline, the 2nd Company is famed for acts of valor so bold that they verge on the reckless. This aggressive style of warfare, however, is not born of arrogance or recklessness, but from the deep confidence the 2nd Company has in its own precision, discipline, and mastery of the art of war. The 2nd Company was commanded by the famed Captain Cato Sicarius, a legendary figure who was lost in the warp for many years, and so in his absence the leadership of the 2nd passed on to Captain Akron. Though Sicarius eventually returned near the end of the Indomitus Crusade, he did not resume command of the 2nd Company. Instead, he was inducted into the prestigious Victrix Guard. But other notable members of the 2nd include Lucian Calcius and Demetrian Titus, who are both lieutenants, and then there are Ammianus, Kellion, and Sidonus, who have the titles of veteran sergeants here in the company. Now at the top is the 1st Company, revered as the Warriors of Ultramar, representing the pinnacle of the chapter's martial excellence. They are comprised of the most seasoned and battle-hardened veterans. The 1st Company serves as the Ultramarines' elite force, masters of every form of warfare and trained to wield all manners of weaponry. A significant portion of the 1st Company operates in Terminator armor, forming the armored heart of the company. Others serve as Vanguard veterans, leaping into battle with jump packs and close combat fury, or as Stern Guard veterans, providing pinpoint fire support with specialized bolt weaponry. These veterans are not confined to a single battlefield. They are often dispersed among strike forces across the galaxy, acting as elite reinforcements and living legends amongst their own fellow battle brothers. Perhaps most iconic of the 1st Company's assets is the Strike Force Ultra formation, a sledgehammer force that brings together as many Terminator armored veterans as possible, delivered into the heart of the battle by Land Raiders or Storm Ravens. At present, this company, the 1st, is led by Captain Severus Agaman, who is also known as the Regent of Ultramar, and those who hold this title, amongst other duties, oversee the ruling of Macragge when the chapter master is engaged elsewhere. Amongst the other notable members is Lieutenant Varus Gastamon, as well as Sternguard veterans Vial Conatus and Malum Cato. At the very top is the chapter command, who forms the core of the chapter's leadership and are often marked by distinctive skull-shaped icons on their shoulder plates, which symbolizes their authority and status. In the Ultramarines, the chapter command has Marneus Calgar as the revered chapter master, who is both a master tactician and a living symbol of the chapter's strength. The chapter ancient is Agrippin, who carries the revered standard of Ultramar. Cato Sicarius, who is formerly the captain of the Second Company, now commands the Victrix Guard, an elite formation charged with protecting Roboute Guilliman himself, and at times protecting the chapter master Marneus Calgar. The master of the forge is Marneus Maxim, who oversees the chapter's armory and war machines. Corpus Helix is the chief apothecary, who safeguards the chapter's gene seeds and the lives of its warriors. Varo Tigurius is the chief librarian, who wields immense psychic power and foresight, guiding the chapter through warp-borne threats and hidden dangers. And finally, we have Orden Cassius, who is the grim master of sanctity, who serves as the spiritual leader and zealot, ensuring that the Ultramarines never falter in fate or fury from the Emperor's truth. But above them all is their Primarch, Roboute Guilliman, who is also the Lord of the Imperium, and effectively at the top of the command structure of not just the Ultramarines, but the entire Imperium of Man as of the current era. And with that, we end this video. If you like this one, then watch this other one too, the one in the end screens. So do hit that like button for support and smash that subscribe button to be a part of Legion Nutbuck. Till the next time, take care, boys.